Welcome to the Productivity Masterclass Part 1. Excited to give this. This is Part 1 because there will be 3 parts in this because we only have like 30 minutes in here today. So this is a Productivity Masterclass, how to get more done in less time. I'm talking about this because I've got multiple people who've been reaching out to me lately asking how I get so much done. Yeah, you work so much, you go to the gym, you work out, you do this, that, and the third. And also, last year, or actually for the past 3 years, I've started my business or businesses, which was very time consuming. Practicing 4 days a week, having 2 games in the weekend. Basically, my calendar was booked. But in the meantime, I also had a girlfriend. I was going around. I was traveling a lot. I was going to school, internship, work, all those things, right? So how did I manage to get those things done? And that's just simply by multitasking or actually being productive. So whenever I'm moving, I ensure that I'm also doing something that's valuable. So something that will move the needle for me. So here's what we're going to cover in these. This will be a 3-part series. So today we will be discovering the productivity triangle. In next week's masterclass, the second part, we'll talk about productivity dead zones. So what actually kills your productivity, what actually ensures you to not get stuff done at all. And then we'll talk about the battle plan. So I'll dive deeper into the battle plan and actually mapping out what your tasks will be and how to actually perform the productivity triangle and avoid the dead zone. So let's hop into it. Now, I want to give you a warning. This video could have a massive impact on your life because, hey, if you're able to get more out of your time than someone else, that means you move faster than they do. So if you want this change for the better, pay close attention. Please do it for yourself. And for those watching the recording, watch the entire video. Don't skip and don't fast forward. This will be real quick and you don't want to miss out on any nuggets. So pro tip, save yourself time by watching in 1.5 speed. Before we start, we need to be clear on what productivity actually is. So productivity is actually getting the most from your time and energy to create more output. In other words, results from the work or time that you put in, right? So we have person A and person B. They both have 24 hours in a day. They both get paid $35 an hour. They both work, or no, one person. So person A works 8 hours a week for 5 days, and person B works 6 hours a week for 5 days. So they both work 5 days out of 7. I've miswritten it. Okay, so they work 8 hours a day per week, right? So 40 hours person A, but the person B just works 2 hours less. So that would mean person A makes more money, person B makes less, but they also have a difference in how much free time they get, right? So 1 year passes, and these are the results. So person A, 8,760 hours have passed in that year. Person A also had 2,912 hours of free time, and he made 72,000 pounds and 800. Person B, the same amount of hours have passed in his year, of course, but he had way more, actually 728 hours more free time, but he made $18,000 less. Now, person A made more money, but person B had more free time, right? Now, even though person B had more free time, their lives could be the exact same way, but he just made less money. So it's about what you do with your free time that will decide your future. So person B may have more time, but it doesn't mean anything if they don't use it productively. Now, everyone has the same 24 hours in a day. The difference between those who win and those who don't win is how they decide to allocate the hours that they do have. So time passes regardless, and you decide what you do as it is expiring. And again, productivity is getting the most from your time and energy to create more results from the work you perform, work and time you put in. So this is the productivity triangle, how to get more done in less time. Now, this triangle, the productivity triangle, is inspired by the fire triangle. So if you didn't know, the fire triangle is this thing where you need heat, oxygen, and fuel. And basically, if you combine those 3 things, that's what ignites a fire. If you have heat, so a high enough heat, if you have enough oxygen, and if you have a fuel source, you will create a fire from that. So just like the fire triangle needs 3 components, heat, oxygen, and fuel, to start a fire, the productivity triangle works the exact same. 3 components, 1 chain reaction. So this is the productivity triangle. Let's talk about one. You need clarity, so you need to know exactly what to do. Now, the root of not getting stuff done is never being clear on exactly what to do. And that's why we need clarity before we get things done. Now, this is the definition and meaning of that. Clarity is the ability to see things clearly and understand what you want to achieve. But confusion is the exact opposite, right? It's not understanding what to achieve, resulting in not knowing what to do, resulting in not getting anything done in the first place. So a lot of people actually move throughout their lives confused. We waste a lot of time because we're not clear on what we need to do. And that's the problem, right? And this is important to know because clarity will help you focus on doing what truly matters. All right. And confusion actually creates a chain reaction in and of itself. So it will make you feel overwhelmed. You'll be like, man, everything is just draining. Everything is taking my energy. I don't know what to do. You're wasting your effort because, look, like I just said, time passes by regardless of how you feel, what you're doing. Time passes by. It's a constant thing. It does not wait for you. So the time and effort you put in, it goes somewhere. But if you spend it confused, you will get confused results. Basically, you will get none, right? Confusion will also distract you, but it will also generate low quality input. And low quality input, this is the downward spiral, the chain reaction that I'm talking about, will create worse results, will create more stress, will create more overwhelm. And hey, more overwhelm, what will that do? It will create more confusion, making you go down the exact same spiral you're already going on. Confusion, low quality input, worse results, more stress, more overwhelm, confusion, and it continues spiraling until there's nothing left. So that's clarity. You need to know exactly what to do. Let's move on to the second component of the triangle. It's cleanliness. So you need to make it easy to get started. So make it easy. The hardest part of any task is just getting started. We all know that, right? It's so easy to get distracted by the phone. It's so easy to get on your iPad and watch videos and do stuff like that. It's so easy to get distracted, and it's so hard to get started. And that's the most difficult thing. So you need to make it easy to get started. All right. So this is how you can actually make it easy. The first step is you break the task into smaller steps. Now, let's say I were to do my taxes, right? You make it easier by breaking it down into smaller steps. So for example, you keep the receipts in a spot close to your desk. All right. Or if you have this huge, let's say you need to write a book. Well, writing a book is not done in a day. It's not done in a week. It could take months, years to finish a book. So instead of thinking in the frame of, okay, today I'm going to write on my book. I'm going to work on my book. You need to be like, okay, today I'm going to write this chapter, or today I'm going for this many words or this many pages. Because then you actually have a goal in mind that is actually accomplishable, because you cannot finish the book in a day. All right. Let me cough for a second. I'm actually sick. Okay. Part two is you need to remove friction. So like I just kind of hit on already is, for example, keeping the receipts near your desk where you're about to do your taxes. Or you need to remove friction by, if you want to drink tea or something in the mornings, well, it's a lot easier to do if you literally just get the water boiler next to your bed and it's already automatically turning on. So the only thing you need to do is grab a cup and put the water in the cup, right? And a third part is you need to set visual cues up. Now, I want to talk about this book for a second, which is Atomic Habits by James Clear. And this is a very interesting book. It talks about tiny changes which create remarkable results. So even like those small things that you change in your day-to-day life will create a huge result or a huge difference in your life. Like just a little segue I want to get on right now before we continue going on about visual cues is that a lot of us believe, or let's say you watch those movies where they time travel and they tell you, they always tell you, if you're in the past, if you're going back in time, don't change a single thing. because there's this thing called the butterfly effect. If you, if like this one slight thing happens, if Hitler never got rejected by our school, the World War II wouldn't happen. But it may even have gone worse if he went to art school. Who knows, right? So we all believe in this butterfly effect, that if you change one minor thing, the entire future can change. But time is a constant thing, it always is moving. So a butterfly effect also exists in the current moment, in the present. So if you want to change your life, do those slight changes, form that that give that little bit extra effort in your performances. All right, so visual cues is basically, just in simple words and short words, or this book summed up, are simple things in your environment that remind you to take action. Think about it like this: if you're aiming to work out more, putting your gym clothes somewhere visible is a gentle nudge to get moving. Or I just bought this printer, and every time that I wanted to print back in the day, if I needed a document to get printed or copied, I had to go to the library because we didn't have any at home, right? But now, or even if I had it in my basement, I would not go there and print it because I'll be like, ah, that's too much effort. So now I've made a visual cue, and I've removed friction by literally putting the printer right next to me on my desk. I'm recording on my laptop and it's literally sitting here. You can hear it. That's my printer. So now every time that I need to print out a document, whether it's for myself, for my girlfriend, you can see right here, I have the table of delivery printed out. I can literally just press one button, turn it on, and air print whatever it needs to be printed out. And even about the visual cues, when I enter my room, the first thing I see is my desk. So I also see this printer, and I'll be like, oh shoot, I need to do this as well. Let me quickly do that. All right. So this is a gentle nudge, which actually I want to hit on right now, is we just need to be reminded oftentimes to actually do that thing. I don't know about you, but I do. I often forget because we get busy. We get busy. We just need to be reminded to do the thing that actually moves the needle. Because when you're scrolling on Instagram, you're mindlessly doing it. You're not thinking about it. But then you need to be reminded that, oh man, this thing actually is wasting my time. And then you snap back into it. You're reminded that, oh, I need to do my taxes. Oh, I need to pay this invoice still. Oh, I need to, I don't know, DM 100 people, right? You just need to be reminded more than you need to be taught. All right. So that's the second part of the productivity triangle. It's cleanliness. You need to make it easy to get started. So we had clarity, knowing exactly what to do. And now actually make it easy to do said thing. All right. And this is the final part, it's concentration. Give all your attention to the one thing, to the task that you're going to do. So I like to break words down, if you haven't noticed by now. And concentration is the action or power of focusing all of your attention. For example, you can see a kid drawing, and they're very focused. You know, they have the tongue out, and they're having tunnel vision on that one thing. And you need to have the same thing, because if you want to get more done with less time, you need to be focused. All right. So focusing on one task at a time will actually get it done a lot quicker. And most people's attention is scattered, and that's why nothing happens. Like I'm a victim. I'm not a victim. I've been guilty of this myself. Like I'm listening to music or listening to podcasts while doing things, or literally scrolling on Instagram while I'm working. It's like, it's not weird if I don't hit my deadlines, if I'm wasting time or splitting my attention between two things, right? And that's the problem. I've been listening to podcasts and watching videos or listening to music while I'm trying to do some deep work, while I'm trying to get in the flow state, which we'll hit on in a second as well. Yet still, we wonder why things don't progress in the way that we want them to. But we're literally wasting our time. It's wasted effort. But it is simple. Focus is the missing piece of the puzzle, the productivity puzzle. And I get it. It's difficult to focus in a world full of distractions. It's difficult. It's hard, man. It's not easy. But difficult does not mean impossible. In Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 10, It says, whatever your hand finds to do, do it with your might. Basically saying, whatever you're doing, do it with all your effort, do it with all your focus. Because if you're spending your limited amount of time, because time is expiring, if you're focusing your limited amount of time on one thing, make sure you get the most out of it, which is productivity, by the way. Okay. So if scripture says it, it's a success principle. I don't know. I don't care if you're a believer. I don't care if you're a Muslim. I don't care if you're Buddhist. I don't care. But if scripture says it, it's still a success principle. Anything that will help you find success can always be retraced to a verse in the Bible. And if you want to be a winner, you got to discover and understand what is written in his word. Okay. And that's the productivity triangle. You start with clarity. You're knowing exactly what to do. Then you got to make it easy. So cleanliness, you make it easy to get started because now you know what to do. Now you make it, you basically set the bar very low to get started. All right. You go to concentration. So you're giving all your attention to that one thing that you need to be doing. And then you get back to clarity. And that creates this one thing called the flow state. All right. The flow state is the ultimate zone of productivity. Billionaires get into the flow state. Musicians, famous people get into the flow state. It's that moment where you're so in the present that everything you're doing is happening effortlessly. So it's just looking effortless. Like I'm writing this book and like the words are just flowing. I'm not even having to think because I'm so focused on this thing. Like my fingers just moving automatically on the keyboard. Right? Or I'm just freestyling. I'm making music. I'm playing the guitar and I don't know, those beats and those sounds just come out so fluently because I'm so focused on it. Or whenever you're drawing, it's like you don't need to think about it. Like this flow state thing actually happens all the time to us. Because when we're watching videos on Instagram, believe it or not, you're concentrated on that thing. Have you ever heard someone that told you, like, hey, man, I tried to reach you, but you just did not respond? It's like, yeah, because you were so concentrated on scrolling that thing. You were in the flow state of scrolling. It's literally that. You're so focused on that. You're flowing. It's going effortlessly. So effortlessly, you're not even thinking about it. And this is how you enter this flow state that I said. This is how you enter it. You just do these three things. You get clarity, knowing exactly what to do. Cleanliness, you make it easy to get started. And this concentration, you give all your attention to the certain thing or task that you're going to do. And that's it. That's the productivity triangle. It's incredibly powerful because if you mix all these three elements or components, you get this chain chemical reaction that's called the flow state. And that's how you get more done in less time. That's the productivity triangle.